um, if we go to the engineering first and then do cartography later, the person sounded like they were hiding and they could be in danger. And so by the time we get there, then go to cartography, they could be already dead. And so my view is
I'm still spending one threat, but not for an outright attack. You guys, as you're having this conversation and you're kind of coming to this conclusion, you hear something scuttling, like on multiple kind of spidery legs in the shadows.
Because that's always good.
Mm-hmm. Does it seem to be sort of ahead of us down in the corridor, behind us, above us, under the floorboards?
Make an insight security check. Actually, in this case, you can make insight, security, or reason, as some of you might have memories of something like this, but maybe not. So I guess we'll find out.
What's the difficulty?
In this case, the difficulty is 3.
I cannot currently roll because my internet is a bit too slow. It's not
Okay.
loading Roll20 at the moment.
All right, I will go ahead and roll for you. Let's see, Karina Karava. You should have a good security being Tal Shiar. I'll use reason because it's higher. And focus of espionage. Okay. Yeah, the only thing you guys know, based on just the sound, because you didn't see it, is whatever it is not that big. So it's not like a giant spider running around. It's probably more like a rather large bug that, probably under a foot in length. Still, at least to me, that's still terrifying. But at least it's not like a giant drider running around or anything. At that point, as you guys are kind of looking around trying to figure out what that was and what's going on, so you hear static coming from your communication devices. And it's a lot of static because of the subspace interference. Oops, get rid of them because you don't need them anymore. And you can barely make out what sounds like Captain Kulina's voice. It's call sector return in hours. Decarius out. And that is all you hear.
Okay, so we have to return in unknown hours. Judged by the fact that she used plural, it's at least 2. Let's not assume it's any more than that. Although, of course, it could have been return at, and then, 2,200 hours or something.
I think that she said that the Dracarius was being called away and that they'll return for us.
It's also entirely possible.
All right.
Well, makes no immediate difference. Us standing around here is probably not going to achieve anything. So Lieutenant Vosky will sort of tap around on his tricorder as if he was trying to clear up that signal. Presumably, it doesn't work.
No.
And will then just say, "I suggest we move to stellar cartography immediately, as ordered." And he sort of gestures ahead.
All right.
I'll take point.
Ooh, out of character, do people want to go to stellar cartography, or do they want to go to, or would they rather go to engineering first?
So, Lieutenant Commander Odom, that's your rank. No, it's Commander Odom.
Yes.
Yeah,
we're heading to stellar cartography first because it's on the way.
Yeah. He changed he challenged his value, which basically means that instead of following the orders as strictly as he would like to, he will go ahead and agree with the those that want to go to the stellar cartography, and in the logical sense, you guys are kind of in the middle of this ship. Let me actually show you on the Roll20. So you're in the middle on the bottom. And so like you guys came in around here. Engineering is all the way back here. The bridge, of course, is all the way at the front. And then stellar cartography is like above you. So you're actually closer to stellar cartography than the other two places. You're going to have to do a lot of climbing. But yeah, so from a you know a distance perspective, it kind of makes sense to check that out first. Plus, from there you can kind of decide, do you want to go to start, where do you want to go from there? The bridge, engineering, sick bay, the prison cells, etc. All right. The corridors are dimly lit from the glow of the pulsing red emergency lighting. Ahead, you find 3 more dead Starfleet officers. One is a female Vulcan with the rank of full lieutenant. As you examine their bodies, a disruptor beam scorches the bulkhead behind you. Looking up, you see the silhouettes of 2 figures at the end of the corridor. Now we'll get into combat. And I will actually spend 2 momentum for that because... yeah, that wasn't going to normally happen, but I decided to make it happen anyway. So let me go ahead and put your tokens on the screen.
Did we lose somebody in roll 20?
What do you mean?
Oh yeah. For some reason, Chrome, Microsoft Edge isn't working, and I tried using my phone to see if I could go through my phone, but that's not working either.
Oh yeah.
I've got no idea.
That's weird. I'll roll for your character sheet though. You just tell me what you want to do. All right. So, who's acting first? So the way initiative works in Star Trek Adventures is basically you guys to play, unless like an enemy actually ambushes you. You guys will always get first go, but you guys decide who should go first as far as actually acting. It's up to you.
Well, I have the quick to action talent.
Oh, cool. Did you by any chance write down what that does?
I did. Hold on,
Okay,
I'm checking
good.
that right now.
Because some of them are very similar in terminology, so I want to make sure we get it.
It says during the first round of any combat, you or your allies may ignore the normal cost to retain the initiative.
Sweet. So basically, once you go, so let's say, Odom, you fire first, and normally what would happen is then the enemy would go, but you can say, oh, well, I want, so-and-so Edgeford or Colin to go next, and then they will go, and then maybe, if you're lucky, you can take them both down without even being fired at again. But I will go ahead and tell you that they are at long range at the end of the corridor. The lights are dim, so these 2 enemies, to hit them with your phasers, it's going to be instead of a normal difficulty of 2, it is going to be a difficulty of 3. So who's Odom? If you are going first, you may take your action. So you can have a minor action and a task, which is basically just like a major action. I'll go ahead and give you a list of... actually, did I put it in roll 20? Because sometimes I do that. No, I didn't. Quick list of the minor actions so that you can know what you can do. I should just grab the card. There it is. So you can aim. So if you aim, that means you may reroll a single d20 made on an attack during this turn. So let's say, if you don't spend momentum, you can fire. Let's say you get 2 successes, but you want to get a third. You can re-roll one of those dice and hopefully get a crit. You can draw your item, which for those of you who are security or in intelligence, I'm kind of assuming you guys have your weapons out, but science officers, engineers...
Oh, yeah, I had mine out.
Unless you specifically state, then I'm not assuming that. So,
Perfectly sensible.
Let's see, you can drop prone. Go ahead.
Is there some way I could try and negotiate with these people?
Sure, you can try, but you guys need to decide. If Odom goes first, then whatever he does is going to kind of decide what happens next. So if he goes first and shoots at them, then you won't be able to negotiate with them. So y'all have to decide what y'all want to do first.
This is not Vosky's moment, so I bow to others.
Yeah, I basically made a soft pacifist character basically.
You said you made a pacifist character as an
For the
intelligence
most
officer.
part,
For an
for
intelligence
the most
officer.
part, like one of her values is violence. Violence solves nothing. So
This is a very new age Romulan.
Nice.
she's more of a, I would say, intelligence officer, more pro diplomat, more of the diplomatic type,
Okay.
not the
How about in this case then?
scary.
From a narrative standpoint, we could say that the security officer was about to point his weapon and fire, but then you kind of stepped forward and put your hands up and shouted something that could potentially be diplomatic. What talents do you have, by the way? Do you have anything like swift or quick to act or quick action or whatever that was? Something
No,
that...
I can't say him now, but it was basically like listening talents for the most part.
Yeah, I see.
The idea was she was like intelligence gathering,
Gotcha.
sort of, yeah.
All right, so this is I'm going to say this is because it's the player's decision. We'll just take a quick vote of who you think should go first. Odom to be able to then give the initiative to another player, or the diplomat who's going to try to lower everyone's nerves and not, try to stop the attack.
I'm gonna say as well. I don't mind either way as well. I'm just saying, like, I just made a pacifist character. Like, that's what she tried to do.
If you want to go first, I'm more than happy to cast my vote in favor of Karava, but only because I wish to see the glorious train wreck.
If you wanted to, like, put your hand on Odom's shoulder, like, to prevent him from returning fire, I'd yield the first action to you.
I mean, I'm okay with that. It's your funeral.
All right, and okay. Here's what I'll do, because I wasn't going to do this, but I will let you do this because in case it does turn out to be a train wreck, it's not my fault. Go ahead and make an insight and reason, security, or medicine check to determine their species. That way, you can make a more informed decision. If you have night vision or a light, then it's going to be a difficulty 2. If you do not, then it's a difficulty 3.
She doesn't have a light.
Okay, so for Karava, it's difficulty 3, insight or reason, security, and I'm guessing the science officer would use medicine.
Yes, that's what I'm going to try and do. I will have an applicable focus, and since this is important, I won't consume our rare momentum. I'll give you a threat.
Okay.
Yep. Okay.
Nice. Does anyone else want to roll? Depending on how many successes you get, will give you different levels of information.
I don't care what race they are. They shot at us.
That is a good point. All right.
Also, am I feeling any like emotion with my empath talent?
Let's see. You are feeling emotion, strong emotion from one of them. Almost nothing from the other. From one of them, you are feeling kind of like a justification, kind of a little bit fearful, but mostly just determination. The other one is kind of like a very cold, almost sinister vibe. Let me roll for Karava real quick.
Oh, yeah.
All right, so it's going to be reason and security. All right. So, did Karava take a light? Do you remember? I don't think so.
No, she didn't.
Okay. And Kamina failed. So Edgeford looks like the only one that definitely succeeded. That gives you a momentum, I believe. Yeah, because you had a...
Yes, because I'm the 3, not the 2. So yeah, only 1 momentum.
All right. So... one of them is really thin from a distance and has kind of feminine features. The other is purely reptilian and about 8 feet tall.
See, to my mind that says Gorn, but I'm not entirely sure. Would that fit?
Who knows? This was a prison ship.
It's true. That's true. But the presence of, I guess, the presence of an 8-foot tall reptilian means that this is not like the other half of our boarding party, and we're having a moment of uniform confusion.
No.
So Vosky will declare to the rest of the team, from his position of cover that this is not the these are not our compatriots.
They're just gonna say no shit.
Yeah. No, hey, it could be confusion.
I guess so. Sure.
Yeah, these are not our compatriots, and maybe surviving prisoners. He can tell no more from that, from looking at their species.
No.
Well, they just
Aside from the pacifistic sort of character there, is everybody here reasonably security trained according to my
Probably except for the science
Yeah.
officer.
No, the engineer is not.
Okay, so 2 of them.
Vosky is, however, with his distrustful of outsiders' value, perfectly happy to kill these people. He just might not be able.
can
I say
try and zap them
kill,
with a force
stun,
field.
Stun with a disruptor.
Alright, gotta
Do
turn.
disruptors even have stun settings?
Depends on the episode.
Fair.
Yeah.
that cripple instead.
Yep.
Alright, so what is your decision? Diplomacy or shoot back?
I'm giving the diplomat a chance real quick.
Alright.
Go ahead.
Go ahead, diplomat. What do you say? You probably got 3 or 4 seconds before they shoot again.
Oh. We come in peace. We're members of the Romulan Republic.
Okay, they shoot again.
Yeah.
I think we all knew that was coming.
Yeah.
Alright, let's see. I'll say the one with the better aim shoots this time. Oof. That's the 3 that she needed because she has night vision, actually, so it's actually 2. But it's still a long distance. We'll just say it's 3. So yeah, she hits one of you, so I've got to roll damage. And I'm going to say it's Mac's character for being late. Or not coming at all, one of the 2. Da-da-da. Alright, the good news is only 3 damage to your operations officer, Colonel Lex. Go ahead and take 3 stress. The bad news is there is an effect, and as effects for disruptors are not great. Where is it?
I mean, they're great if you're holding them.
Right. I believe it's vicious. The attack inflicts an extra.
It's vicious.
Yep, it is an extra damage. Yep. All right, that's what I was afraid of. I just wanted to make sure. So yeah, one more stress removed, and Colonel Lex would have been injured and potentially stunned until he could be revived. And one thing I will go ahead and say real quick is, if they do happen to get you 5. Either all of your stress removed or 5 or more, you do take an injury, which means you can, unless you spend a determination to avoid the injury, you cannot take an action again until you're either recovered or basically die, or like until things are kind of fixed into the next scene. So like, let's say for example you take care of these 2 guys, you knock them out, then we can just narratively say by the next scene that you guys heal the next person. But if that doesn't happen, to where you guys have to kind of like run fleeing, and you guys don't do too well, then by next scene, if you don't do first aid, that person will probably be dead. So just to let you guys
I like
know.
that you allow zombies because we can take actions if we die.
All right, so now it's your guys' turn. I'm guessing Odom is going for next.
I think that might be wise. Oh, can we tell, by the way, from the nature of the injury our teammate just received, if they're firing on stun, if their disruptors can do that? Oh, the GM's gone.
just lost someone.
Karava just vanished, yeah.
Alright, so what are y'all doing next?
I am going to attempt to clear the distance between me and them.
Running gun?
Running gun.
Alright, so the moving is going to be a minor action. So let me put this up. I don't need it anymore. Yeah, sprint. So, oh wait, that's actually considered a full action. But it is
Okay,
difficulty 0, so let's see. Success means you move 1 zone. Okay, so you would be in medium range, which means your difficulty would be back down to 2. Are you one of the ones that brought a light with you?
Yes.
Okay, so yeah, difficulty 2. 1 additional zone per momentum spent. So yeah, make a fitness security roll. Difficulty 0. As long as you don't get a complication, then you'll be good. And you also...
And I also have the athletics focus.
Okay, that would apply.
And the complication range is...
Just keep it at 1.
1.
And I don't know why, but it's got moving in both minor actions and sprinting in combat tasks. But they both basically do the same exact thing.
That's odd.
Doesn't sprinting allow you to go more move increments, whilst moving only allows you to go 1?
Well, moving says move to any point within medium range. So that's like 1, 2, which would more than put him, where he needs to be. Did you already roll yet, Odom?
No.
Okay, then go. I'll just say that can be your minor action, and then you can just go ahead and attack. So you're now within medium range. You can clearly see a Gorn male and a female Reman.
Okay. I'm going for the Gorn first.
All right.
By the way, I discovered what the difference is, which is that with the sprint action, you can choose to spend momentum if you take that action, and
right,
that lets
get
you
closer.
go further zones.
That's cool.
Yeah.
I guess that, yeah, okay.
In fact, I think I'm going to spend a momentum then to move up to...
Well, that's only if you actually do the task.
That's the only way I should do this.
Because you're doing the minor action, so you're just moving, I think it said... Yeah, to medium range. So you're medium range away, which reduces it down to difficulty 2 to hit. Which is the normal difficulty.
Well, I'm going to spend a momentum to actually get me an extra die.
Okay.
Oh, okay.
It's control security to shoot. But what
I
is?
thought you said fitness security.
Yeah, that was for the running thing. Sorry, I shouldn't even. Let me see what your control is though.
It's 9 as opposed to fitness.
Yeah, just roll Just roll control security 3 dice. It's a likelihood it'll be the same thing, but yeah. So you still get them, and you get a momentum back. So you don't even need to. We don't even need to change it. You're still at momentum 4. All right. So you definitely hit. So I'm gonna need you to roll your phaser damage. Now the way they got the character sheet set up for phaser damage is it's. And correct me if I'm wrong, but the damage itself before you add the security should be something like 3 or 4.
Well, it says
for a phaser type
2. It says 8 on the sheet.
Yeah, so that's. I'm guessing you've got a security value of 5.
Correct.
Because the weapon has a base damage of 3 for a phaser type 2, and then you add your security onto it. But the sheet does that automatically. We discovered in a previous session.
So
if you just type in 3.
Okay,
and
so
then
we do
roll
have
off
to
the sheet,
reduce
it'll
it
do
from
all
8 to 3 because it will add it. Okay, so cause basically the way it is now, it'll be 8 plus 5, which is.
It'll be that.
Yeah.
I rolled a lot.
All right, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So 7 damage to the Gorn, and you got an effect. So let me find the effects. That's not it.
Yeah. You at the risk of hamstringing us, I think what you accidentally did there is the 8 plus 5 again.
You did?
Because you rolled 13 dice.
Well, I don't know if those zeros count as dice though, do they? Because
Yeah, those are rolls.
okay, because
Yeah,
I remember
those are rolls.
I remember that the character sheet was broken for the longest time, and so it rolled way more than it had to, and those zeros didn't even mean anything. But
We discovered it with that problem with T, but there we go. That looks better.
okay. So 2, I think that's actually more than what he got before. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Okay, let me look at his character sheet and see how badly you got him. The bad news is he is a Gorn, so he does have +1 resistance to getting shot. So one of those. So what's that? 10. So it reduces it to 9.
+1 resistance to getting shot. Is that how it's written down in the book? It's
Let's see, +1.
bullet resistance.
All right. So 1, 2, 3. He does take an injury at least. 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. I'm gonna say he is, for the effect, he's knocked down, and because he got an injury, I'm gonna say that he is stunned, and any attempt to do anything is going to be a +1 difficulty to the Gorn. So now you want to shift over the initiative to another player, correct?
Yes, I want to shift over the initiative to.
Someone with good security.
I have a thing I could try to do.
Okay.
Oh, okay. Well, then I will shift to the chief engineer.
Depending on how giving the GM is in this. Is there an access panel anywhere near me?
Sure, we'll say there is. What do you want to do with this access panel?
What I want to attempt to do using the power cell that I have, that I've been lugging around,
Right.
Since the shuttle bay,
Yeah.
is I want to try to use that to try to make the ship put force fields around these people with my focus in force fields and shields.
I mean, without even like looking at it, that's going to be way more difficult than shooting them or shooting her.
I'm not sure that it would be.
Well, the thing is the power.
I'm pretty terrible at shooting things.
Well, okay, so based on just the time it would take to plug in the power cell and get it all set up so that you can actually have enough power to put up a force field, it's going to be at least a difficulty 4, and that's not even to take into account that due to the ship's power levels being so low, those force fields might just drain the battery cell and then just completely fail in a few minutes anyway. So that's up to you if you want to take that risk, but shooting might just be the best option.
Okay, I'll try to shoot at the
Riemann.
At the Riemann, I guess.
All right. Nice. Did you take a minor action at all, or did you choose a minor action?
No.
And so do you want to try to move closer? Do you want to aim?
I do not want to move closer, so I would like to try to aim.
Okay. Do you want to reroll? It says reroll a single d20 made on an attack this turn. So the likelihood of you rerolling one of those and getting a crit.
A 1.
Yeah, it's kind of. I mean, you can go ahead and try it. Okay, so you re-rolled it and got a 1 again. So basically, the phaser beam is 2 inches away from her face as it just goes past her, and now she is going to fire. Actually, you know what? She is Riemann and she's detecting another empath. I'm going to do something that's more difficult, but it might be more interesting. She is going to attempt to reach out into Odom's mind. And I'm going to say that's an opposed check. So Odom, if you want to roll control and... No, presence and medicine. To kind
Yes,
of...
I am medically sound.
Okay. I assume so if your character's Delton.
No, I'm Bajoran. I mean, no, sorry, Betazoid.
Betazoid, okay.
Sorry.
Yeah, medicine is usually used for empathy, but command can be, but it's usually more used for like diplomacy and stuff. Medicine's all about the psychology and all that good stuff. But yeah, presence medicine, and it's whoever gets the biggest roll. I am going to spend a threat to get an extra dice, so that puts me down to 7.
Should I spend a threat for an extra die? I think so.
Are you giving me threat or are you
No.
using momentum?
No, I'm spending a momentum.
All right, so you guys are down to 3, and I have 7 threat left. All right, so I'm gonna go ahead and roll. Oof, 4 successes. Wow.
Oof.
All right, so she reaches out as she's pointing her phaser at one of you, and reaches out with her mind to Odom with her mind, and basically like everything around you goes a lot more dim than normal, and the lights, instead of being flashing red, to become like a deep purple, and you can see her growling face and like an inch away from you, and you're kind of paralyzed with fear for at least a moment. All right, so that was her turn. Who's next?
I think it's
I-
only Vosgi from our end. Assuming
I-
Karava's attempt
Fuck.
at diplomacy was his action.
Yeah.
Uh-huh. Well, in that case, Vosgi is very much not built for this. So he is going to minor action, move into solid cover,
Okay.
and then, as a standard action, take another minor action, if that's permissible, to draw a weapon, because he would have had his tricorder out, not his phaser.
So to do multiple minor actions, it's going to be a momentum spend for each one after the first one.
You can't convert a full into a minor. Okay.
No.
In that case...
I mean, I personally don't mind if you do.
Why don't you dash to cover then instead
But you-
of walking to cover?
Well,
Yeah, that's what I'm
and
gonna
here's
do,
the
yeah,
other
I'm gonna
thing.
dash.
Here's the other thing. You also have something called guard, which is a difficulty 0 roll. It just increases the attacks against you. So essentially, what you're doing is you are going to cover as the action, whereas the drawing the weapon would be the minor.
Okay, yeah, that is exactly what I shall do. I shall guard as a standard to get into cover, and then draw a weapon as a minor. It's difficulty 0, but I'm looking at it. I'm just trying to work out what stat it is.
We'll say it's control, as you're probably like you're right there, so it's not that far away. You could just jump back, jump over there without having to make any long distance runs. Control and security.
Control security. Okay. Oh, no foci. Ha! Fortunately, it's a difficulty 0 task. I just don't generate any momentum.
Uh-oh. Gotta turn this down. Alright. Oh, wow. Yeah, definitely a 0 there. But yeah, you make it. You may or may not feel a phaser beam, like an inch, or a disruptor beam, actually, in this case, it is a phaser beam, an inch away from your head. But yeah, you do make it, and you have your weapon ready. Alright, so now it is... Yep. And has everyone... I think Ops hasn't gone yet. So let me roll for Ops. Colonel Lex. Just a basic control security. Due to the oh no, it's just night vision, so still misses. Alright. Now it is the Reeman's turn, and the Reeman, you guys are those of you who are not paralyzed or hidden behind a bulkhead, you guys can see that she kind of takes a few steps back and looks down at the Gorn and then just bolts. And at that moment, the paralysis that she has on Odom kind of fades away. But you guys, the last thing you see is she is sprinting towards the just back the way she had come in the darkness.
Well, discretion is the better part of valor.
She has realized she
Well,
is
I mean-
outnumbered.
She's outnumbered, and we just took down a Gorn. Like,
Yeah, yeah. You saw. Yeah, she glanced at the Gorn like, "Oh, okay, I'm gone." All right. So you guys still heading towards? I will remind you that the turbo lifts, due to the power being down, are also down. So you will be having to make some fitness checks as you crawl through the Jeffries tubes.
Is the Gorn alive or dead?
It's borderline unconscious.
He's well, as she has bolted, I'm gonna kind of walk over to him and stun him again.
Okay, that's not gonna take any roll. He's out. He is out cold.
He's not wearing like a prisoner outfit or anything, is he?
He is, and so was the Riemann.
Ah, okay.
However, make another insight security check, those of you who would like to. Difficulty 4. Insight or
yeah,
I'll say reason. Reason or insight. Sorry, go ahead.
I'll do that.
Okay.
But I can't. But I can't access my character sheet though.
Okay, I'll roll for you.
There's no way I'm making that roll, so...
You guys have, if I remember correctly, 4 momentum. Let me make
You
sure.
do now, I think, yes.
Oh, no, you have 3 now. Let me write that down. Momentum 3, and I have threat of 7, I believe? Yeah.
I'll spend 1 momentum.
Alright.
And I'll use one of my focuses, I think. Espionage.
Yep, that'll apply. Let me find your character sheet. Alright. What was it?
Is there music playing in the background?
There is.
I've got the BSG version
I can-
of All Along the Watchtower.
Yeah,
Gotcha.
I can.
Okay, I was like, wait a minute. I was like, I'm hearing music. I was like, it's not mine.
Get out of my head, damn it! That damn Riemann. All right. So
Cylons are already in your computer.
I will get. Man. I'll tell you this. I'll tell Kamina this. You notice as you guys are, after the Gorn is stunned again, you think, man, this Gorn went down hard. Gorns are obviously known for being big and strong and enduring a lot and having scales, but the level of power that you had to put on your phaser to knock this Gorn down was a bit more than usual, and you actually don't think that this particular Gorn is going to stay down for much longer.
All right. Are there any cells down this hall?
He doesn't look like he's too far out.
If there are any cells down this hall, I think we can drag him into one and hopefully lock it.
All right. Who's going to assist with this carry roll? It's going to be a fitness security difficulty 2.
After what happened with carrying the captain, I'm not the best person for this.
I am, I think, quite possibly the worst person conceivable for that role.
I'll tell you what. If Odom wants to roll,
I have a pretty good fitness.
Okay, I'll roll Karava's assist. Let's see. Difficulty 2, fitness security.
Oh yeah.
All right. Wow. Okay. So
4 success.
2 momentum. You're back up to 4. You carry it to a cell. Unfortunately, the force fields are down, so you're going to have to manually crank the door shut. So that's going to be another fitness security difficulty 3. I will again assist with Karava.
Whilst that's happening, presumably the door doesn't shut. Sorry. I'll just compare. There we go. Presumably the door doesn't shut instantly because they're doing a manual crank.
Right.
We know
Correct.
that from your previous description that tricorders can still work in very close range.
Yes.
So what Vosky is going to do is take a tricorder read of the Gorn whilst it's closing, and then
Okay.
he can analyze the tricorder readings, presumably with either reason science or reason medicine, to
Reason
work out
medicine, yep.
why he's so tough.
Reason medicine. And
Alright.
I will say, as you're taking this, wow, fitness security is your thing. So
It is.
you're up to 6 momentum, and as you're taking that scan, and as you crank that door shut for the final time, you hear another skittering, but this time it comes from inside the cell. Something is skittering along inside the cell as you lock it
It's
behind.
a parasite that's doing it. And the parasite has detached. But yeah, what's the difficulty of the reason medicine?
We'll say 3.
Okay, I'll use 1 momentum because this may be a vital piece of information to get up to 3 dice.
Okay. Yeah, it could be important. It could have something to do with what's all going on. Nope.
Okay, that's not great.
That's
and I
that's almost
will
impressive.
I know. I will use the cautious science to reroll 1 of those.
Okay.
Come on, 2. So
Nope.
close!
Yep, he must have closed. The doors got closed too quickly, or whatever's going on with the Gorn is not detectable with a tricorder, or you're just bad at reading things from a tricorder at a quick glance. One of those 3 things definitely happened. All right, so you're heading
This
where?
wouldn't happen
Stellar
if we had a
Cartography?
Romulan science officer.
Yeah.
Stellar cartography.
All right.
Wait, does the Gorn wake up?
No, he's still out. They shot him a couple of times.
Okay.
Yep, he will be out for a little while. All right. Sorry, I'm just making sure I'm at the correct location in my notes. Okay. So everyone's going to need a fitness security as you guys are crawling through the Jeffries tube. Difficulty 1.
Yep.
I am increasing the complication range with my threat to 2.
You said fitness security?
Yep. I will allow control security as well.
Good.
How do you
definitely.
control? How do
Okay.
you control security? Because I think that's stronger for me.
Okay.
I don't know if I have a focus though.
Nah, not really. Come on, computer, work.
That's a lot of momentum we just generated.
Yeah.
Looks like.
All right, so you got 2, 4, 6, and you're at 5, so that's my max is 8, so you're at max with 3 bonus momentum.
Is there any sign, like with one of those momentum, is there any sign of things moving through the Jeffries tubes?
As of right now, no. Every once in a while, anyone who has, which would be all of the Romulans, because I believe Romulans' hearing is better than humans, but anyone that has any, basically any kind of perception or insight that's better than an average human would occasionally hear the skittering of claws, like insect claws in the bulkheads, but it lasts like a few seconds and then it disappears. But other than that, you don't physically see anything in the Jeffries tubes with you.
I'll turn to the colonel and tell them how much I hate bugs.
Is this a Federation vessel?
It is a Federation civilian vessel. Yes, it is not a Starfleet vessel.
I'll just ask, why would there be? Ask the Starfleet people. Why would there be these weird insects on board this ship?
That's a good question.
Possible infestation?
Polsky will comment something along the lines of, the number of possible causes are vast. Speculating without a little more information would not be helpful at this time.
You can just say I don't know.
Polsky is tempted to be quippy, but he bites his tongue.
Do it.
This is not the
Do
time for
it.
that.
Do it. Be quippy. Be quippy.
No. Polsky is aware that this is a sort of semi-diplomatic joint mission. Now is not the time to poke.
To commit to the pun of I would have Clippy show up and go, so you'd like to be quippy? Want some help with that?
All right. So you guys are heading to stellar cartography.
Yep.
When you get there, to the doors to stellar cartography are ajar. As I said before, power is mostly shut down. There is auxiliary power, but it is, as you recall, I believe the last time when you in the shuttle bay when you looked at it, it had been rerouted to the bridge, if I remember correctly. Which makes sense. That's where the other team went. Inside, a young woman with short black hair sits at the controls, her back to the entrance. A fuzzy star chart of known space flickers on the large, inverted, half-spherical screen, but suddenly, the screen fills with static and goes dark. Almost had it! For rules! She groans to herself.
We'll inform her of our presence and say, we are members of the Romulan Republic and Federation Joint Operation Task Force. We've come to assist your vessel.
When she hears you speak, she spins around, revealing that she is a Romulan woman in her mid-30s. She goes, "You made it! Thank Fort Avor. Am I glad to see you?"
Yes. What's been happening on the ship?
What hasn't been happening? That's a long story. Please come in. She kind of hits a button on the console. The door opens like a couple of more inches, but she kind of sighs. I've been struggling to get power rerouted here, but every time I do, someone locks me out.
Is there an insight check for her? Is there like an insight check I
Sure.
could roll
You
about
could.
her?
I encourage people to roll as many insight checks as possible at all times. You don't even have to ask. Insight security, unless you're trying to find out something else, in which case it would be command or medicine. But yeah, generally speaking, insight security. Difficulty is 1.
I want to be
Okay,
trying to figure out what she was trying to do.
Okay.
Okay. No, I just want to know her. I just want to the insight on her intentions, kind of thing.
Right. To
Like,
see.
is she like?
Yeah.
Oh, no, sorry.
If you're trying to look at the computer to see what she was doing, insight engineering or insight science.
Oh no, I just want to be like, is she trying to set us up for a trap or something?
Yeah, insight security.
Oh,
Do you want me
still
to
can't
roll for you? I always forget.
Yeah.
Okay, I got you. Insight security. And
Ooh.
oh, so you did get a complication when I rolled for you.
Okay. Could
Now-
I remove the complication?
Let's see. Yeah, you have 8 momentum. Actually, you didn't spend. If you want to spend the rest of that bonus momentum from last thing, I'll just say that you're still at 8, and I'll just get rid of that complication.
That's a wise spend. Yep.
Okay. And actually, you get another bonus momentum because you got 2 successes. Let me go ahead and answer the engineering task first, though. So it looks like she was trying to put in coordinates in the astrometrics in the stellar cartography, and it was like narrowing in on something, and then static, as if she was looking for something specific, and then power was diverted from stellar cartography all of a sudden. As for the security role, she is wearing a Federation civilian rank of crewman on her collar, and she has what appears to be an old, also Federation civilian kind of jumpsuit. At least the top part of it is. It's like a grayish, brownish jumpsuit that engineers wear, and on it has even a nameplate that says Cathel. So as far as you could tell, she's an actual crew member of the ship.
Is that a Romulan
Question.
name though?
Cathel? It is when the Romulan name generator gives it to you.
Okay.
Ah.
I just want to make sure
Is it unusual? Because you mentioned it was old. Is it an unusual item for people to still be wearing? Has it been officially withdrawn, or is somebody still wearing it?
It looks
odd.
When I say old, it means like she's probably been wearing it for 5 to 10 years. Like it's an old uniform.
Right.
Like it's something that she would have, serving on a ship, she would have been wearing every day.
Absolutely. Okay. It's not out of date and withdrawn.
No.
Okay, cool.
No.
Cool.
All right.
What exactly were you trying to scan for?
She looks up to you and she says, "The coordinates. There's a signal from out in deep space. The ship that dropped you off here left to go investigate it. I was trying to get the coordinates on the screen, but every time I try, somebody reroutes power."
Well, I
You
might be able to
were-
help with that.
She nods
I
to
hold
the
up my
engineer.
battery.
Whilst that's happening, and Vosky nods at that suggestion, Vosky will comment, you were here calling us before the ship left to investigate the signal.
Right.
What were you doing before then?
Trying not to be killed by prisoners.
Hmm.
I've been here the whole
That's
time.
true.
Well, most of the whole time.
Okay, I mean that's absolutely out of character. That's absolutely possible and fine. But Vosky's going to try and help with the various scans because he can, even if he isn't the lead. But he'll also take that opportunity to see if he can go through like an activity log to see if she was up to something
Okay.
before. Like, what else was she looking at?
All right, so we'll say that you kind of sidle over to the chief engineer and you kind of mutter to the chief engineer like, "Hey, we need to look this up so that you can assist him in that." So we'll do that first. If you guys want to make I'll allow either insight, reason, or control, whichever is your highest, and engineering. And for the science officer to assist, I'll allow science behind that. And the
I'm going
difficulty.
to buy 1 extra die with threat.
Okay. I was gonna say the difficulty is 3.
While they're doing that, Kravis is going to be talking to the engineer to make sure that she's okay.
Okay.
Like, is she injured? Is she hungry?
She says,
Does she need any help?
No, I'm fine. It's been a rough couple of days, but I'm fine. Thankfully, I wasn't completely alone. When those bastards took those, came aboard and killed everyone, it was rough. But Ometiclon has been here to help. At least he seems to be very helpful. I've never met a Jem'Hadar that was as helpful as him, but he has been helpful.
Okay. Where is he currently?
Good question. As a Jem'Hadar soldier, he believed his best way of protecting me was going out and trying to kill as many of the other prisoners as possible. So your guess is as good as mine.
Okay. We came across a Gorn and a Riemann.
Right. The other prisoners.
And apparently, yeah. And also we came across maybe some sort of insects or something.
Some of the previous boarders were strange, but I'm not sure if that has anything to do with it. There definitely shouldn't be any insects on the ship. There's no Zindi here, I can tell you that.
Oh, no, it was like some sort of creature scuttling. We're not exactly sure what it was though.
I see. Well, I don't know anything about it, but hopefully once we get power restored, we can make a full scan of the ship.
Okay.
All right, so as for your assist and your engineering roll, that is awesome. And I said difficulty 3, so that puts you a 2 bonus momentum. So remember that, so you can ask questions, because you will need to ask questions.
One of my questions is where is the power being diverted from?
Okay, well, I'll give you the basic information, and then you can ask the questions after. So the basic information, number 1, is that there seems to be a power struggle, and I mean literal power struggle, like energy, from stellar cartography where she is, and whoever's on the bridge. It keeps getting retransferred, rerouted, and there's not a lot of it. It's backup power, so it's like whoever's on the bridge and whoever's in stellar cartography, when they need it for something, they need all of it. That's the first thing. The second thing is, as for Vosky's question, yes, everything that she has told you, you can verify in the logs. You can also see that there's been some pretty obvious navigational errors. It looks kind of intentional, which may explain why they're so far out of where they're supposed to be in space. You guys are also detecting various images in the logs of whatever the ship was used to kind of board this ship, whatever the enemy ship was, but the images are so corrupted that you can barely see what it looks like. There's a greenish hue to it, and it seems to be pretty big, probably at least a few times the size of a Galaxy class ship. So what? Sorry, what was your question,
That's
Colin?
pretty large.
Well, it's already been. I
Okay.
know now. I don't need to ask that question
Yeah.
anymore.
All right. So if you guys want to spend spend momentum for any other questions, you may do that, or you could just ask Kithel. It's up to you how you want to do it.
Yeah, so and I think this is going to be one of the bonus questions, can Volsky tell when the serious navigational errors began, and do they intersect with any strange astral phenomenon?
Repeat that first part one more time. Sorry.
When did the serious navigational errors start?
Okay.
And did it intersect with them crossing some kind of astral phenomenon?
The second question, no. So as far as you could tell, the navigational errors occurred much earlier, probably several weeks ago, and the subspace phenomenon has been a relatively recent thing, say within the last couple of days.
Okay, all right. I've got a bit of a working theory here, but Volsky will have to ask this question to our Romulan survivor. And we'll say, when was control of this ship lost? And to the best of your knowledge, how did that occur?
She kind of, as you guys were doing your thing over there, so she went back to doing her thing. So she looks up and turns to you and kind of almost stammers. Well, things have been weird for a while, but I would say the really bad stuff started probably 2 or 3 days ago, when all of our systems just shut down. We lost power, sensors and communications went down, and then all of a sudden, I was in stellar cartography at the time, so I don't really know. Because our sensors were down, but people were saying that the Romulans had boarded us, which to me, obviously, she kind of gestures to her own face. She says, I thought that was ridiculous. Others said it was humans, Federation citizens, and of course you had a few that said there were Klingons. Nobody really had any consistent data as to what happened, but as far as we can tell, that's exactly when the subspace interference began happening, so I can't deny that those things are connected. They must be.
Okay, Volsky nods and says, and did that intercede with the prisoners coming loose?
Well, as soon as the power went out, the cells went down. So they all did what they do. We had 23 in total. Most of them, as far as Ometiclan can tell, have been taken. A few of them have just been outright killed with the rest of the crew. I seem to be, as well as Ometiclan, of course, the only two survivors here who have not been in some way harmed.
And were you aware of peculiar courses being charted by this ship some way in advance? And if so, do you know why that was being done?
Well, that's the thing. She kind of gestures to the console where you guys were standing, and she says, as far as our consoles and our sensors were telling us, everything was normal up until that subspace interference began interfering with our systems. It seems like somebody intentionally changed the records to make it look like we were going where we needed to go, but instead led us here. It's definitely a trap of some sort. I'm just trying to figure out why and by who.
Who would have had access to that kind of navigational data?
Well, anyone with any kind of navigational experience and any of the command officers.
Okay, because out of character, yeah, Volsky is thinking that there was some kind of plant that intentionally brought the ship here, where it would be vulnerable to subspace, and it was then attacked.
It's that fern in the corner. That's
quite possible. But in order for the plant to be able to get away with changing the course, he or she is going to have to fool both the other bridge crew, at least, anybody else who might notice where the ship is going, and those groups of people. And fooling the whole bridge crew is unlikely to be successful via human means, so it's going to be somebody who has to not only have the ability to edit historical navigational data, but dupe the sensors in real time.
Yep.
So it's an inside job, is what you're saying.
An inside job, but by somebody probably in the bridge crew and very technically skilled.
Mr. Vosky,
Uh,
you seem to have quite a bit of expertise in this theory of yours.
Do you want to join the Tal Shiar by any chance?
Well, yeah, Vosky will take. Will step up to the team, not this new Romulan, but will step up to the team, both Romulan and Starfleet alike, and explain in character what I just explained out of character, his thinking along these lines, and he will further speculate that the presence of these small bugs may also be significant in addition to what I have just let out. The inside man, if it is indeed that, may not necessarily have been entirely himself. I was unable to get a... Carry on.
No, I was going to say, by the way, at this point in time, Colonel Lex's charred arm is starting to really irritate her, so Colonel Lex might need some first aid from the science officer. By the way, Mac, your character got shot. Sorry, I forgot to tell you.
Oh, hello, Mac. Okay.
Yeah.
Hello.
He would turn around and say, "Well, who had the most access to the?" By scratching the arm, trying to scratch the arm, he would be like, "Who had the most access to the, what? Like, who would have done it? Had the most access to fit all around?"
Cathal will say, it's got to be either someone with an expert navigational experience or one of the bridge crew. Those are the only people that would have... I mean, even the people in stellar cartography don't have that much access to being able to change things like that.
Oh, sorry.
He goes, "Wouldn't there be a database on that? Like,
well, it depends how deep they go.
Database?
They could go all the way into the database and just change the logs, and we would never know. The only reason we do know is because you guys were able to dig it up while I was over here trying to get these damn coordinates on the screen. So I definitely thank you for that. I didn't have time to do that. I was busy trying to figure out, how to survive.
Is she one of the bridge crew?
Cathal, no, she's an engineer. Probably spends most of her time in engineering.
Okay.
Vosky's having a bit of a think, but he'll attempt that medicine check, which I'm guessing is control medicine.
Sure, yeah. Difficulty 1, but anything over that will add. So basically, if you get 1 success, then that gives her 1 stress, and basically anything over that is momentum spends to give her more stress back. Yeah.
Well, I'll spend a momentum to get an extra dice because, hey, and also that might heal more.
Yeah.
And she's at down 3, so this, I think, we'll see how this goes.
All right, so you're at 7 momentum. All right, so...
There you go, you've got 2 back.
Yep. All right. So... Cathal basically says, if we can reroute enough power here, we can figure out where your ship went and potentially figure out what's going on peripherally. Maybe we can access some logs, but I really think that getting bypassing the lockout from the bridge, number 1, and then rerouting auxiliary power should be our main goal.
Vosky nods, and then he turns to the team and suggests, in a slightly lowered tone, because he's not quite sure what our team is comfortable having this engineer know. But we'll say, well, it should be a relatively simple matter for us to get the bridge to cooperate. Simply have to get there, as we cannot hail them.
Are you certain?
Vosky is quietly amused by that, but he doesn't show it.
And crewman Cathal says, well, I don't know what's going on the bridge. I assumed it was the prisoners or whoever had boarded us before. Are you saying that the people on the bridge are actually your crew members?
As I mentioned, Vosky deliberately spoke in a lower tone, so she wasn't part of that.
Oh, sorry, I didn't hear that part. Then in that case,
Oh, okay.
then she'll just go on about her business and typing at the console.
I can probably temporarily boost her auxiliary power to let her do some of the work. But I don't know if I can deal with the lockouts from here.
Do we want to restore power in engineering first?
I think it's a good idea.
Are you saying this loud
Yeah,
enough for her to hear, or no?
Yeah.
Okay. Cathal will say, I don't recommend it. Those other prisoners could be out there. I think if we can... I mean, it's not going to be easy, but if we can lock out the bridge and reroute as much auxiliary power as we can to here, we can at least figure out where your ship went, as well as some other pertinent information before we head to engineering and then get all the rest of the power online.
Okay, I'll inform her. Most likely the people on the bridge are another team from our ship.
Oh,
So I actually have a question about that. So how quickly after our people left the shuttle bay did we get that first interference from the bridge from in the shuttle bay?
what do you mean?
Like, we had some sort of thing from the bridge when we were in the shuttle bay, I thought.
So, are you talking about when you went into the control station for the shuttle bay doors?
Yeah.
So that came
Yeah.
from stellar cartography, and so where she is, telling you guys to meet her here, and at least as far as you could tell.
Okay.
She kind of verified that when she says, "Oh, thank God you're here," that kind of thing. But as far as then probably as I think it was Vosky or somebody was actually I think it was you was trying to reconnect the power so that you could actually figure out if it was actually from stellar cartography. You saw that the power was then suddenly rerouted to the bridge, so pretty much almost immediately.
And that would have happened too soon for our commander to have gotten to the bridge, correct?
Unless either they use transporter technology, which is unlikely, or they use some other panel along the way and had a command level access. Like a Starfleet admiral wouldn't be able to do that, but yeah, something similar to that.
I thought they'd gotten there already. Okay, that does change things somewhat.
Well, they had left
Well,
before
can we-
you
can we
did,
temp-
but they also had a lot of Jeffries tubes
Yeah.
to crawl through, so they wouldn't have gotten there that soon.
Yeah.
He
Can
would
we attempt
say,
to contact them?
If you hit your comm badge, it's just basically static.
he would tell, I don't think our crew's actually on the bridge.
Yeah, I don't think so either. We started getting bridge interference way too soon for them to have gotten there. I mean,
Yeah.
look at how long
Remember
it
in
took
the
us to
shuttle?
get down the hallway.
Well, in that case,
Is that it?
on that speculation, Vosky will turn to the team and say, well, in that case, I feel little compunction about trying to shut them out then.
Could we try and send them? Could we try and send a message through like through to the bridge from here?
You would have to to basically jerry rig something to do that would be a lot more difficult than just rerouting the power and bypassing the lockout. So it would be like a difficulty 5, and that would be 2 rolls that you'd have to make at difficulty 5. So I think it would be a bit easier just to reroute the power and bypass the lockout.
Yeah, alas, with communicators being so common, hard lines are a thing of the past.
Well, you can hardline it. It's just the subspace interference is so like the amount of power that the Dicarius used to broadcast like even that little bit of information probably took like half of their power of a warbird to just do that, and they were punching through so much interference. It basically you guys are without hope as far as communication goes.
Of course. So subspace interference would actually interfere with a physical cable. No broadcast, just a cable going from one place to the other.
Well, they're using subspace communications. They don't use radios or anything like that. They use whether it's a physical cable or Wi-Fi, it's going through subspace.
Okay.
But the Romulans have
Aside from
rotary
that,
communicators, right?
What's that?
So the Romulans have rotary communicators?
No, they have subspace communicators like everyone else, but that's the thing. That's why it's affected.
And aside from the difficulty of it, if it's the prisoners on the bridge, do we really want to let them know that we're here in stellar cartography?
Exactly. Yeah, I think that shut them out. They already know someone's here, but we don't want to let them know the whole team's here. So, yeah, I vote both in and out of character to just shut them out, since we're now convinced it's not our own team.
All right. So it's going to be control engineering, difficulty 3. I am going to increase the complication range to 5.
I want to lead this and jury rig a solution.
Sorry, what's that? You want a jury rig a solution?
Yeah, because that reduces the difficulty.
Okay, so difficulty is 2.
Yeah.
And
it does only work for this scene.
Yep. Okay.
And yeah, I'll just assist. I don't immediately have anything.
So in order to assist,
helpful?
yeah, it'd be a control engineering, or I will allow control command since it is a lockout.
Oh, I think I've got a good command.
Let me check.
But
I'll only allow the command for an assist, not for the actual roll.
Yeah, I'll assist by supervising. Doing a good job there, man. You're doing a good job. Keep it up.
What were you saying, Matt?
Yeah. Do you need you're gonna only allow one?
Yeah, only one. So as far as I don't know. Did you already roll yet for engineering?
No, I haven't rolled yet.
So you got a 2 in the assist. So as long as you don't fail, you will be good.
Okay. I am, just in case I fail completely, I'm going to spend 1 threat to get an extra die.
All right. Are you giving me a threat, or are you spending a momentum?
I'm
Use momentum. We've got momentum coming out.
I am bold. I'm not cautious.
Gotcha.
Yeah. Okay.
All right. So only got.
You're doing a good job. I believe in your engineering skills.
There we go.
All right. Y'all have still 7
This thing
momentum.
here and bypass that pathway.
Nice. You got a 5, so you're up to. Well, first of all, you have 8 momentum, but you have. Buck, I have to do math now. So you see, you're at 7. You get 5, so you would have 4 bonus momentum. So what do you? If you spend 2 of those, I will allow, short of someone physically rerouting or unbypassing the lockout, I will allow this to be a permanent solution for stellar cartography. If you spend 2 momentum.
Yes, I will do that.
And those are bonus momentum anyway. So you still have 2 bonus momentum if you want to ask a question or create some other advantage or something like that. Or you can use those bonus momentum to basically create an advantage so that the next task, which is rerouting auxiliary power, is actually reduced in difficulty. Do y'all want to do that? Because that's going to be a difficulty 4.
Best use. Yeah, that's a good use.
Right.
Yes.
So it puts it down to difficulty 2. And it's going to be reason engineering. And if you want to assist, I will allow reason science.
I'll definitely attempt that assist. And I'm just checking to see if that. It's considering that we've been doing things involving the computers. Would you allow? Actually, no. It's too broad. It wouldn't make sense. I'll just roll straight.
Computer focus.
Oh no, it's definitely computer focused. I was going to see, because we previously did successful rolls regarding getting some of this to work again, if I could use the testing a theory, which gives me like re-rolls and reducing difficulty and that kind of thing. But our task regarding rerouting auxiliary power is probably too different to the task we previously did to allow that to happen.
Yeah. Whoops. Yeah, this is more of a, rerouting all the power that you possibly can to stellar cartography.
Exactly.
Rather than, I need this console to activate.
Exactly. So I'll just roll the assist.
And I will get 1 die with a threat again.
So it's another 2 bonus momentum, I think.
So you get as much power as you can. Again, they can still reroute it, but if you want to spend those 2 bonus momentum, I will say that you can at least temporarily lock the power to stellar cartography until you get to engineering to basically reboot the system.
I like it. It gives us time.
Sounds good.
Okay. All right. So, the systems in stellar cartography hum to life. Engineer Kithel eagerly puts in coordinates, and the location lights up on the star chart. Now that's unexpected. The signal the Dicarius received came from an empty part of space in the Angosia sector. The solar system the sector is named for straddles the border of unexplored space between the Klingon Empire and the Federation. So I will go ahead and move you guys to the map to show you where this is. So if you guys are here, then this thing is over here. So a signal came from this location. The Dicarius picked it up and then went to warp, leaving you guys with that message that they left that you could barely understand. So now you have a sector. You just don't have a reason.
Now that's interesting. I've noted that location from our previous. You might want to be back on the map. From our previous data that we pulled regarding them going weirdly off course.
Right.
Can you indicate what course on this map they were supposed to be on and that they were actually on?
Are you talking about the freighter or the Dicarius?
I'm talking about the prison ship that we're on.
So let's see. Where I'm looking at the. Where is it? More than likely, I won't be able to find it. I don't think I. So essentially, if you're looking here, it's here-ish. So by here-ish, oh, there it is. So Jorat 4, which is right there, is actually the location they were heading to drop off the, they have a prison colony there, so they were going to drop them off there.
Yep.
For some unknown reason, as they were heading there, the prison transport got redirected through between the two borders, or between the two empires, of the Romulan Empire and the Klingon Empire, all the way to over here. And then now the Dicarius has been told, hey, you need to come over here.
And what was their start point, roughly?
Over here, closer to Earth.
Right, okay, so yeah, they were nowhere near this mysterious signal. Their course didn't bring them anywhere near it. Okay.
Yeah.
They are way off course.
Yep.
They're way off course. They've gone way too far. And that adds another level to the shenanigans, because not only are they way off course, they had to overshoot and go quite a bit further, which means that they either had to explain why this is all taking too long to get to where they were meant to go, or they somehow went at an unusually high warp. They didn't go at their cruising speed.
Well, for free, I could tell you that anyone that has that level of skill at fixing navigational logs can easily increase the warp, and then just tell everyone, oh yeah, we're still going at warp 5, and no one would really notice unless you're like the chief engineer or somebody who's very in tune with the warp field physics, like
Yep.
So otherwise, everyone would just assume, oh, the stars are still flying by at the same speed. I can't tell.
Okay, absolutely fine. Okay, that's all very interesting. Volsky will ask, was there any indication of a signal of this type shortly before this ship was docked with?
No, not that I know of. Like I said, everything was fine, and all of a sudden, we started losing power. Our sensors told us that it was some sort of subspace radiation before they too went out, and then people started complaining about the big ship outside that was coming to send people to board. But I honestly I don't have any other information for you. If we can. So the subspace interference is going to fade eventually, like in several hours. But if we can get enough of the power into the records computer, we could potentially put together some of these fragmented logs and sensor data. But it's not going to be easy.
Okay, and I got a question. Is the signal still broadcasting?
Well, you wouldn't know because of the subspace interference, but presumably it's just a simple message, so it would not be.
Okay. I mean, that makes complete sense. Well, her idea about getting more power so as that we can descramble things seems absolutely fine. But is it possible for Vosgi to attempt to descramble it now with what we've got, or is it so far that it's not? It's just even beyond a roll.
I mean, yeah, no, there's no way. Like, basically,
Absolutely.
out of or in character, pretty much all the engineers and scientists would know. In order to get that much power, you'd basically have to go to engineering to restart the system, essentially.
Okay, and he can't do it without the excess power. Absolutely fine.
Yeah.
Okay.
Colonel Lex says, we need to go to engineering to look at the records and data.
We should indeed. However, we may wish to find a way, or perhaps head towards the bridge, if only to alert the other team as to the danger that awaits them there. They may be expecting it to be unoccupied.
For that, we need power, so we need to get to engineering.
Yep, Bosky nods.
Yes.
He has no further input.
All right. Cathal says, "Well, I'm pretty sure Ometaclan is out there doing what he does best, but I would like to come with you to kind of, as an engineer, I'm sure I could assist you guys."
Of course. But first, I was wondering, could we scan you, make sure that you're okay?
Sure.
Like medical.
Sure. Make sure I'm not a changeling,
yeah.
right?
Yeah. Yeah. So.
I also want to try and get some empathic vibes off of her.
Okay. There is an underlying bit of disappointment and what's the word I'm looking? Not self-loathing, but very much a lot of regret and a lot of self-doubt. Yeah. But on the surface, it's basically, I want to help. I want to get off the ship. I want my crew back. I feel traumatized by the shit that I've seen. Like the normal stuff you would expect a survivor to feel after experiencing, what she's experienced. Yeah. If you have any questions, you can spend momentum to get specific answers.
He says it's normal Starfleet things. They always do.
Well, Cathal's not Starfleet, so.
Oh yeah.
He says it to Cathal. They're normal Starfleet things.
Oh, you talking about those scans?
Starfleet
Okay,
people.
yeah.
Yeah.
She nods. She's like, I understand. I wanted to join Starfleet, but
So Carver put a hand on the shoulder. Well, you did a good job here, and you helped us a lot, and you did a lot of help. So she's trying to do her best to reassure her and all that.
Okay, make a presence command roll.
Okay, I can't.
Oh yeah, I got you.
I still can't.
I keep forgetting. Hey Mac, actually, can you roll for Carava? Colonel Carava is the middle one, the middle character sheet. For me, please.
Do I have a focus that would help?
Not sure. Can you even? I'm gonna. Whoops, wrong. Hold on. I gotta add so that. Okay, you should be able to access it now, Mac. Let's see. I'm gonna say diplomacy is probably a good one.
Okay, yeah. Diplomacy, yeah. Yeah, she was just trying her best to sort of make sure that she's okay.
Okay. Mac, if you don't mind rolling for that presence command, difficulty 1, I guess. And while Mac's doing that, does anyone have any other questions or comments or anything you want to do before you guys head to engineering?
I'll unhook my temporary power cell now and strap it back onto my side, on my back or whatever.
I'm guessing it's reason medicine for the scan.
Yep.
And yeah, Vosgi is particularly alert to signs of alien biological interference.
Yeah,
because
I figured.
he's also slightly suspicious, just generally, of her claim not to have heard any skittering. It's just like, that sounds unbelievable. Even though she passed the empath check.
Yeah, go ahead.
So,
I'll say reason. There. Wow. So, three bonus momentum.
Okay,
So
Vosky.
feel free to ask questions because you got 3 free ones. Yeah, pure blood Romulan. Not even a hint of Riemann in there. So yeah, you're. As far
not
as you
even
can
a hint
tell.
of Riemann, and not even a hint of anything parasitic.
No, she is, as far as you can tell, Romulan with a touch of what's that word? Great, now my brain's blanking on it. Not dehydration. That's what it is. A touch of dehydration, which makes sense for someone that's been spending 2 days on in the same room. But otherwise, you're pretty much certain that she's who she claims to be.
Yeah, and that there's nothing odd. Okay. Well, I can't immediately think of useful questions regarding her medical history. So
Right.
Vosky will just sort of note it, think to himself, she could probably use a little more iron in her diet, but say nothing. And then just continue.
All right, I'm rolling
She's
for
safe.
Karava because I don't know where Mac went. Wow, you got difficulty 1. You got
Yeah.
0. So,
Oh, silly.
well, I asked you to roll for him and you didn't, so I assumed you didn't hear me. Anyway, so
Yeah.
Cathel looks over to you as you kind of put your hand on her shoulder and say, it's going to be all right and everything. And she says, considering 100 of my crew members died recently or were captured, I have no hope that things are going to be okay. I can only hope that I will survive and either make it back to my home on Romulus or and she kind of just stares off and then gives you that, like, turns and looks at you and gives you like a big fake smile, and she says, I'm sure I'll be fine. I'm sure I'll be fine.
I understand. She'll just pat her shoulder again.
All right, so what are y'all doing next?
Engineering ho, I guess.
All right.
Engineering.
I will bravely follow someone else to engineering.
Cathel says, if I remember correctly, from working in engineering, there is an emergency access shaft near the chief engineer's office on the upper deck. If we can get to that, we should be able, or through the Jeffries tubes, of course, we should be able to avoid most of the prisoners, as I'm assuming most of them are running around in the corridors. But that's just my suggestion. I'm not the one in charge.
But we'll have to use the access, the Jeffries tubes anyway, since power to the turbo lifts are out.
True. Unless she thinks for a moment. She says, down the corridor, one of the shafts, the turbo lifts have actually moved on, before the power went out. And so it's just a shaft all the way down to deck 4 where engineering is. We could just go down the turbo lift shaft.
That's the quickest way then?
I believe so.
I think so.
As long as you don't fall, in which case it's very quick.
Are we a fit group? I don't think my character's all that fit.
Vosky is not all that fit. Plus,
Okay, but it's going to be a difficulty 1, and you have plenty of momentum. I'm just saying.
Okay.
Yes.
And maybe I can turn off artificial gravity in that tunnel.
Ooh, that'd be interesting.
Ooh.
And we could just sort of swim down.
We could. Vosky has a moment purely in his own mind. He doesn't say this because he's aware that it's extraordinarily unlikely to happen.
Mm-hmm.
But he does have the image of we're all climbing or swimming down this turbo lift shaft, and whilst we're in the shaft, somebody else restores power and uses a turbo lift.
Yeah, that would be like horrible. All right. So you head out. You're heading towards the turbolift shaft.
Towards the turbo lift shaft, yeah.
Yep. You leave stellar cartography following crewman Cathel. You hurry down a curved corridor towards the turbolift. Cathel cranks open the door with the emergency manual actuator. Stepping inside the lift, you gain access to the horizontal shaft through the emergency floor hatch. Okay, I guess that's what if the turbolift was actually still there. The hum from the backup power system will drown out the echo of your footsteps on the deck plating and the ladder. So you can climb for 15 minutes before dropping down to deck 4. That's going to be a fitness, I'll say fitness or control for you guys that aren't very fit. Security, difficulty 1. But I'm increasing the complication range to 3. Because why not? Maybe someone will fall.
Yeah, I'm gonna spend I'm gonna spend one of the motivation.
Momentum.
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 I will as well.
You said the complication range is 2?
3.
3.
Yeah, I guess I'll spend a momentum too.
Alright, so you got 2 bonus oh no. Okay, so you got
I'm gonna spend a momentum.
Alright. 1, 2, 3. That puts you down to 4. And then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6 plus 4. So yeah, you're back up to 8, plus you have 2 bonus momentum. Yeah, you get down. No complications. You don't drop anything. You don't sprain your ankle. Oh wait, I gotta roll for Karava. Let's see. Control. Security. Alright. So you have 4 bonus momentum. What do you want to use the bonus momentum for?
Can I try and give another pep talk?
Sure.
Or can we use it to increase our speed in getting down?
Yeah, I was going to suggest using it to be super alert,
Yeah.
considering the noise. Using it to be super alert to the sound of skittering.
All right, I'll say
skittering
all,
is being concealed.
all
yeah.
3 of those is fine.
Okay, cool.
But Karava, I do want you to roleplay how you're going to try to comfort her again.
I should say thank you for informing us about the tunnel. We wouldn't have, if it wasn't for you, we wouldn't have been able to get there quicker. Have you ever considered a career in? You talked about joining the Starfleet, but have you considered joining the Romulan Republic's military?
She sighs.
We've reformed in the last. We've been reforming the last couple of years. A much more friendly organization, and you'd be a valuable asset, I think.
Yeah, no, I believe it or not, I did try to join the Romulan military as well as Starfleet, but my test scores on everything except for engineering were terrible. So I ended up, working with the Federation Department of Corrections as one of their engineers, and that's served me well for the last few years. But if they ever lower their standards, I'm sure I will join again or attempt to join again.
Well, you should attempt to join again, and you have my recommendation as well.
When you say that, she smiles. She says, "Really, nobody's ever said that before. I thank you."
Yeah. But
first, we need to get out of here.
Yeah. First, we need to not die. All right. So you get down to deck 4 where the engineering is. There's a long corridor. Because of how it's set up, and it might be a bit hard to explain, because it's a turbolift shaft and there's no turbolift, you're able to stand on deck 4 while looking through the open doors to deck 3. You are able to see 2 individuals standing outside of main engineering. One is a Romulan Ulan, which is the equivalent of an ensign, and one is a Reman, but it's the same Reman that you saw in the corridor, except this time she doesn't have the rags of the prison uniform. She has a Romulan tunic on. She still has her regular pants from being a prisoner, but it looks like she has discarded her prison tunic and went with a Romulan jacket instead. They're standing outside the engine room. She is holding what looks to be a civilian Federation-style phase pistol, so not Starfleet issue. The Romulan Ulan, who's standing next to her, he has his Romulan disruptor holstered, kind of just standing there looking. They both seem to be looking around, just standing guard.
The Romulan Ulan does not bear any resemblance to any of the Romulans that came with us on the away mission.
Roll insight or reason security or command, either one of those four. I'm not picky.
That's a reason security.
This is the Tal Shiar recruiting speech. Yeah. The new Tal Shiar recruiting speech. We kill less of your family.
The kinder, gentler Tal Shiar.
I'll roll one of those as well, I guess.
All right, I will roll for you.
It's pretty obvious that they're just taking people's uniforms and these are both prisoners, but
Just in case.
Yeah.
Also, yeah, I want to make sure is the uniform she's wearing, is it a perfect fit or is it oversized or undersized?
That's a good thing to want to know. Let's see. So only 2 of you rolled. So first of all, you have a complication. Do you want?
And
Yeah. Do you want to spend? You have so many momentum.
Yeah, buy out
All
of
right,
it.
so you're down to 6. Ooh, no. But I will tell you that Romulan Ulan, you do recognize as one of the ones that left with Dranal to go to the bridge.
So is it possible from our location for me to vent this deck into space?
No. But you are going to have to, all of you are going to have to roll control security because you're technically in a stealthy situation, and if you fail, they're going to notice you because if you can see them, they could see you. So control security, difficulty 1, and I have to roll for them because they're looking around.
Okay, I'll do control security. We once had lunch together.
But no,
He enjoys antiquing.
Sigh.
Yes, I'll buy off my complication.
All
I
right.
knew he was suspicious. He always ordered the turkey bacon.
All right. Where do I start?
They don't even have turkeys on Romulus.
Yes, I'm gonna buy off my complication.
Okay, that was about, yeah. All right, so that puts you down to 4. All right, difficulty 1. So, yep, Colonel Lex is not seen. Puts you back up to 5 with Jimenez. And then you got Odom, who, overachiever. Puts you up to 7 momentum. And then, oof, that's something different. And then you're back up to full momentum. You guys are very stealthy. But you do overhear the Romulan turn to the Riemann and say, "Did you hear that?" And then the Riemann says, "I sense somebody out there. They're close by, but I cannot determine where."
out of character, I recommend, because even if this Riemann is part of our crew and everything's okay.
The Riemann's not. The Romulan is.
Not the Riemann, sorry, the Romulan. Even if the Romulan was part of our crew, something suspicious is happening here.
No.
I'm still going on the idea that they're that they're under some kind of strange influence. So I recommend that we just go phases on stun. Boom.
Disruptors to maim instead of kill.
Okay.
Could the Riemann be mentally controlling the Romulan?
I mean, I guess it's possible, but it's extremely unlikely. Riemanns are more empathic, and they really only have that kind of exertion or control over other empathic individuals. So it's unlikely that she's just outright controlling him.
The process of us finding out is likely to get us shot, so let's shoot first and ask
Well,
questions later.
so and I will also remind you that technically you guys have passed your stealth check. So if you want to get up to deck, if you want to go to deck 4, get through, sneak in through the Jeffries tube and get to the, that emergency shaft that's next to the chief engineer's office in engineering, you can totally do that without being detected. You don't have to just open fire. It's not like they've seen you or anything.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll do that.
Yeah.
And maybe leave security behind if they want to shoot at these people.
Okay. All right, so you enter, you crawl in through a Jeffries tube. Once you get to the corridor, you reach the emergency shaft by the chief engineer's office. How how do you want? So the shaft is the emergency. It's one of those like platings that they just push up against the wall in order to get it, out of the wall. You kind of have to kick it off from the inside, which can make a lot of noise. So it's gonna be a control or fitness security difficulty 2.
I can do this. I'm good at kicking indoors.
If you get a complication, I'm gonna say it falls on a Romulan. Ooh. Does anyone want to assist? I could totally see 2 people sitting there trying to kick open a door.
Yeah.
Fitness
Yeah.
or control security. Whoever wants to. Whoever's the first one. There you go. So yeah, Colonel Lex gets down next to you and kicks the door. It does that thing where it pops off and then just falls down. Thankfully, though, on the other side, it's not like a metallic grating. It lands on one of those like gray carpeted areas, and you guys, as you crawl out, let's see. On the far side of the room, you see the warp core is dark. Below, a Romulan Ulan and 2 Reman bodyguards work diligently at a central computer terminal. Sub-Commander Drenal paces, barking orders to his subordinates, casually twisting a sword in his hand.
Now, Drenal's
What?
our exile, right?
Yep.
What are the orders he is barking?
Just stuff like, faster, basically, as far as you could tell, he's trying to get the warp core online, which is what you guys were doing, or wanted to do.
Could they be medically scanned without arousing suspicion? The process of medical scanning is covert rather than
Sure.
overt. It's not going to be loud. Okay.
In this case, it'll be control medicine difficulty 2.
All right.
And I am going to roll
will...
for some of them to be able to see if they can detect intruders.
That's absolutely fine. I will activate, because I've successfully used the medicine scanning before, I will activate both testing a theory and theory into practice, which gives me an extra D20 and reduces the difficulty by 1.
Okay, so the difficulty's 1.
Okay. Did you say it was control medicine or reason medicine?
Control, because you've got to do it really quiet.
Control. That's absolutely fine.
Nice. So you have 2 bonus momentum. Yep, because you're at full. So I will give you the basic information. The 2 Remans look like, as far as your medical scan can tell, they're just 2 normal bodyguard Remans. The Ulan seems to have something that's not Romulan present in his, for the lack of a better term, body. And Drenal is the same. As in he has something foreign in him as well.
Right. Okay. This and could this possibly be sort of like parasitic or symbiotic, something like that? Is it a foot-long
like
bug?
Something. It's definitely something that's not good. I'll just say that. You're trying. I mean, like I said, subspace radiation. It's not giving you everything.
Okay. I still got one extra question.
To be honest, that roll should have been a difficulty 4 anyway.
Yeah. What Vosky will do, because he's aware that talking out loud is not good at the moment, is he'll bring out like a data pad or something like that and just type in very large letters that the Romulan away team members have some form of infection, may not be in control of themselves. Just like shows that to the team.
Sure. I mean, you could even whisper that. That's fine. I'm not gonna make
Okay, cool.
You got bonus momentum, man. You're good.
As a member of Koshia, could I take him out of command or something, like legally or something like that?
I mean,
That's technically there's a way the chief medical officer, the medical if there was a medical personnel saying, "Hey, he's unfit for duty,"
Yeah, no, that's
that's all
definitely
true.
yeah, that's Starfleet though. Like when it comes to stuff like this, um, the Romulans value duty to the state above nearly everything else. So it would ultimately come down to, you know, his word versus my word, who has the most witnesses, and if he doesn't survive, then maybe they listen to you, or maybe they throw you under the bus because to make an example out of it. You never really know.
But not only that, if there is some kind of parasitic infection, which is my lead theory, even if we could go, hey, this guy is unfit for duty because he has this parasitic infection, they'll go, yes, we also have it. Bang.
Also, that may not hold up. He's unfit for duty, but is he really? Like, is Drenal unfit for duty, or did he just get infected by something? Like, it's really vague.
What I mean is, the Roman bodyguards, they're not infected, are they?
They are not.
No. May I, with my extra, hang on, with my extra momentum, is there some way I can tell from that scan if there is a way to safely, and ideally quickly, but principally safely, deal with this strange non-Romulan presence in them?
The only way to do that would be to kill the host.
Okay. And the Remans, are they part of the away team as well, or are they?
So the Remans are his bodyguards. They are loyal to whoever's in charge of the Decarius. They came with him merely to protect him. If either you could get Captain Kulira to basically say, hey, he's not to be protected anymore, or you could absolutely prove that he is working against the Romulan government or state, then they would turn against him. But those are probably not something that you would live to be able to try to do.
Yeah.
Okay, my plan was basically saying, by order of the Tal Shiar, you're removed from command, essentially.
Okay, well, more than likely they'd just turn and shoot at you. At least the ones with the weird, thing on would just turn and shoot at you. The Remans would just look up at you like, what are you talking about? So it just depends on how, well, number one, how well you roll, but number two, like, do you like how confident are you in your abilities to efficiently take command of this situation?
Okay.
It's up to you. I'm letting y'all decide that.
We know that life support is still running, albeit at low levels. Would it be possible to? It won't be easy, but would it be possible to essentially take control of local life support and put in some kind of sedative into the supply that will knock everyone out? Volsky will be fine because he doesn't need to breathe, but everybody else would have to be sort of out of the room if they didn't want to be affected.
Sure. It would require a heavy, like a difficult role to figure out what would actually affect these creatures. But once you did that, it would be a matter of either spending a momentum or a difficulty 1 to actually implement it. But yeah, how would you go about figuring out what would actually affect them, though? Because as far as Starfleet memory is concerned, or memory alpha, vaporizing them with a phaser is really the best and only way to deal with them. I'm assuming we all know which parasites we're talking about, right?
We do now, yeah,
Okay.
we do now. They're back.
I reiterate, is there a way to vent this deck of the ship without venting us?
It would probably be technically easier to do that than figuring out how to anesthetize them, but the complication range would just immediately be 5 because you would essentially risk, venting things that you don't, or things or people that you don't want to vent into space. Also, yeah, it's fine for the Romulans to suggest that, but if a Starfleet officer had suggested, let's just vent some Remans and Romulans into space, they'd probably be executed or not executed, but I'm sorry, I was thinking of Romulans, but they would probably be dishonorably discharged at the very least.
When you wait, Romulans, we'd honorably discharge them as well, and put them in a.
Yeah, I just want to honorably discharge them.
Oh man! All right. Well, what do y'all want to do? Which way are you going? By the way, I will go ahead and tell you. In the upper deck where you guys are standing near the chief engineer's office, Actually, let me move you guys to the chief engineer page. There's not actually
Is the
a.
office sealable?
Well, yes, but on the outside of the office, you can see that there are consoles. So if you wanted to attempt to restart the warp core, you could do that. But once you started doing that, they would immediately just look up and notice you. So just to keep that in mind.
Permission, because we talked about how to deal with this. We might be able to even the odds because the Remans aren't infected. It's just the Romulans. So we might be able to put in a a knockout agent that only puts down the Remans or everybody who isn't affected. That will at least significantly even the odds.
Right. I'm just gonna roll
Has
for.
anyone tried to talk? He goes, hasn't anyone tried to talk to him?
I'm just gonna roll the Riemann to see if they notice y'all.
Yeah.
All right, decision time.
Okay, what would the roll be to put out the gas that's just going to knock out the Remans? Because it's
So
not going to
it would
affect
be an
parasitic ones.
insight or reason medicine difficulty 4, and then it would be a control engineering difficulty 1 to actually do it.
Okay, so for the reason medicine, I'll purchase 2 momentum.
Okay.
Or 2 dice 3 momentum.
Okay.
And I do have applicable foci. And you said it was difficulty 4?
Yep.
Could I assist?
Can I
assist in some way?
Yeah. Considering this is medical-based information, can I use testing a theory because I've already medically scanned them to get information, or is that
Sure.
not going to be applicable?
No, that's
Excellent.
That's,
I will do that.
if you hadn't have scanned them before, definitely not. But in this case, you did scan them at least twice, so yeah.
Fantastic. In that case, I get an extra dice and the difficulty goes down to 3.
Okay.
Let's go.
And if someone wants to assist the medicine roll, if they have a halfway decent medicine, they can do that.
Okay, no, I don't.
Wow! Or maybe not. Might not need to.
Whoa.
2, 3, 4, 5. So you got 5 successes out of 3, so 2. So you're back up to full momentum.
Mhm.
All right, and you have now. You do have theoretically a substance that will knock out even the toughest of parasitical bastards down there. It's just a matter of well, actually.
Oh.
Yeah, go ahead.
Well, I just went fantastic.
So you have you know how to do it, but you're gonna have to. Unfortunately, you know what? Yeah, just go ahead and roll control engineering difficulty 1 to implement it. I think there was a step I missed. I think you're supposed to actually do that in sickbay, but that's fine. Because you don't technically have all the resources to do that in engineering, but it's fine. We'll say that you brought your medical kit or something.
Excellent. And because it's I still have applicable foci, because this is so important, I'll purchase 2 because we're at full momentum, so 2 dice out of momentum. Right. For 4, this one won't get testing in theory, but here we go.
Right. 5 again, so you have 3 bonus momentum. The air, and you guys, I'm assuming, are inside the sealed chief engineer's office. The air comes out, and
I sure am.
and you can see that it begins to anesthetize the individuals who are down below as one of the Remans draws his disruptor and points it at you, and then it kind of staggers and falls onto his face.
Fantastic. Well, yeah, let that take effect. Then, because I'm assuming they'll be out for a little bit, then we can cycle out the air, not into vacuum, but just so the gas is gone, and then the party can go in to deal with the problem.
All right. So, luckily for you, because these guys were here before you got here, they have already unlined the ejector ports and primed the matter-antimatter injectors. All you have to do is power up the engine core and stabilize the warp field. To power up the engine core, it is going to be a daring engineering task with a difficulty of 2. To stabilize it, the warp field, it's going to be daring engineering or science with a difficulty of 2.
I can assist here.
I'm gonna look to the operations colonel and ask him if this might be a good opportunity for him to test his skills.
Yes, Vosky will interrupt slightly
Okay.
though, and say, "I apologize for interrupting, but whilst my gas was very effective, it may not be permanently effective. I suggest before we do that, we firmly restrain all of these people and keep a cautious eye on them."
I think so as well.
Sounds like a good plan.
All right.
Well, once we get
yes.
once we get the engine running, we can actually just put them in a force field room.
Yep. Once you
Yep,
get the
yeah.
power
absolutely.
restored, everything's.
Mhm. But we'll have my disruptor just just in case when they wake up and start going. We'll take the weapons away first as well.
All right.
Yes, very sensible.
So you do all that,
Yeah, weapons,
And-
equipment, tricorders, fancy stuff, and then yeah, all that stuff.
all right. Control engineering or daring engineering, difficulty 2 to power up the warp
Oh,
core.
it can be control.
No, it's daring. I don't.
Okay. Then
Aw.
I'm
I think.
so good at that.
I think they have daring here because it's
Yeah.
supposed to be in the middle of combat, but you already took care of that.
I was assisting, but I offered no help.
Wow. Okay.
Okay.
I mean, I can try to do this. I'm just not gonna be that great at it.
Yeah.
For daring
On a big
engineering,
control.
Well, let's see what happens. Let's just see what happens.
Okay,
I'll order you to take your time.
You also have 8 momentum, so I'm just saying.
yeah, use
I'm gonna
all
buy
of
a 3 die. I'm
Okay.
gonna buy 3 dice.
Wait, are
or
you
3
doing the
dice.
main role, Mac?
No, probably.
Well, then you have. If you're
I'm
assisting,
gonna be.
you can only, assist with 1 dice.
You can only assist
So-
with one die.
If I'm leading this, then I'm not buying dice with momentum because I am a bold engineer.
Okay.
I'll buy one of the dice with threat and the other 2 with momentum.
All right.
Okay,
There.
So that's
4 successes.
4, so 5,
All right.
5.
5 successes. Yep. So, and the difficulty was 2. So, oh my god, 3 successes. 2. So you're up to 8 momentum with what's that? 3 bonus momentum. So,
Yeah.
yep, you have. If you want to spend 2 of those, I'll just reduce the next task to difficulty of 1.
Yes.
Sounds like a good plan.
Daring engineering difficulty or science, either one, and someone can assist as
And
well.
what is the second task that we're doing? 'Cause maybe I'll actually have a focus
Stabilizing
here.
the warp field. Essentially, you
Oh,
got to
I
make
do
sure
have,
that.
warp field dynamics.
Awesome. So essentially, you're making sure that it doesn't too badly interfere with the subspace radiation and blow you up. So yeah.
And I'll just buy 1 die with threat this time.
Okay, I'm increasing the complication range to 3.
Oh. I still roll really well.
Nice. So you got 4. So that's 3 bonus momentum. And yeah, you the warp core begins to come to life, and with the stabilized warp field, it projects a warp bubble, basically kind of stabilizes and makes sure that the outside subspace interference does not interfere with it, and you have a functioning warp core again.
Fantastic. Now, I had a character question about the setting. The parasitic infection that we are now aware of, both what it is in and out of, out of character.
Right.
Was the infiltration of the Federation by those parasites and so forth very highly classified and people don't know about it? Or is it something that officers would know about?
We're not in the standard Star Trek universe, though, correct?
Alright, it says, what does Starfleet know? The following information
Yeah.
is available to player characters from their ship's library computers. So, if you access the ship's computers, I'll actually make an insight security roll real quick, because you might not...
Oh, I'll have Karava do that as well.
Alright, I'll roll
Okay.
for...
I'll cite my xenobiology focus, but yeah.
Yeah, that's fine.
Security.
It's a foreign government. Maybe espionage.
Yep. All right. So 3 successes. So difficulty was 2, so you all succeeded. Oof.
I rolled the wrong thing.
Yep. So you probably should reroll that. All right. So everyone except Kamina. Probably after about 30 minutes of you guys doing this, stabilizing the warp core, powering it up, making sure the ship doesn't blow up, you see or you hear, those of you who got 2 or more, you first hear skittering, and then when you look over, you see this bug skittering across the floor, the deck. Go ahead and make a control security to see if you can, if you want to. You don't have to shoot it.
Yes.
I mean, you could just let it escape if you want.
I guess.
Difficulty is 3
I don't
because
like
of
the
how
idea of
small it is.
I'll take it. I'll take a shot.
All right.
Okay, I am going to cite. Since these critters are the ultimate extragalactic outsiders and so forth, and very bad news, I'm going to cite the distrustful of outsiders
Okay.
value to get like, no, fuck you, you die.
All right.
This thing has to die.
So you already have
get...
2 successes, and you just need the 1.
Exactly. I'm just thinking about other ways. I can buy... Okay, it's very important. I'm not very good at this, so I will buy a dice as well to roll 3 dice with momentum. Okay.
Wow.
There we go.
Nope. Only one of you made it. Difficulty was 3 because of how small and skittery it is, and Odom shot 1, vaporized it, and you back up to full momentum. The other one...
Well, Vosky got 1 as well, because he has 2 automatic successes from the determination.
Actually, oh yeah, that's true. So you guys you got a bonus momentum. So Odom, is your phaser set to stun, or were you trying to kill it?
Oh, these things are known parasites.
Well, after this, I was gonna give you the download information from the ship's computer, but
Well, yeah, I was still on stun. So
okay. So it screams when the phaser beam hits it, and let me see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Yeah, it doesn't vaporize or burn or anything like that, but a large scorch mark appears on its purplish back, and it basically just stops moving. The other one is hit by Vosky. So Vosky, go ahead and make a damage roll, even though... is Vosky firing on stun or kill?
I'm guessing because Vosky is Federation and he's got a specialist in xenobiology and all
stun.
that, he knows what these are.
Okay.
So I'm guessing he knows stun doesn't work. Tell me if that's incorrect.
Well, I'm trying to remember. I might actually literally have to memory alpha this, because I don't think they ever fired on stun at the individual bugs in the show. I think they tried to stun the host, and then it didn't work. So then that
did nothing. Yeah. The only time they fired directly on the bugs was the big one at the end, and that's not really representative.
Let's see. Parasitic beings, Federation infiltration, almost has nothing. Yeah, I don't think they actually. So we'll just say, if you use a minor action to prepare your weapon at a lower setting, I will allow you to stun it to keep it alive, so you can, if you want to like research it and stuff later. Otherwise, it's probably just gonna die.
I'll use the minor action, because what's the worst that could happen with capturing one of these things alive?
I don't know. Maybe another story for the future. Wow. 2, 3. All right. So.
And fortunately, there's an effect which hopefully will stun it.
I tell you what, it's stunned to the point where it's moving a lot slower now, but you're gonna have to physically grab it.
I'm gonna
that.
Yeah, I'm gonna take it. Carver's gonna take another shot at it. He doesn't like these things.
All right, let me.
Keep shooting.
Everyone just
can I
starts.
momentum to shoot?
Yeah. Let me open up character sheet. Alright, I put you guys down to 7. Alright, control, security. Whoops, I accidentally rolled it. I'll just roll another one. Oh, wow. So you got 5, so you're back up to 8 momentum with bonus. I think y'all have like 5 bonus momentum at this point. I don't know. I think it was... But, yeah, you hit it. So is your phaser set on stun or kill, Karava?
I'm using a disruptor.
Oh, yeah, that's right. So it's gone, basically.
That's fine.
Disruptor pistol. What's the disruptor
I
pistol?
was jumping into a... I think
Is it 5 or
put it on the
4?
bottom.
How much damage?
Disruptor pistol is a 3 plus your security,
Okay.
Oh.
but with the vicious effect.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, you cut it in half basically.
Yeah.
All right.
You can dissect it instead of vivisecting it.
So I imagine like Vosky shoots it, it stuns it, and then he's like, now what? And then Karava just vaporizes it. Like that's what you do next. All right.
It's fine. It's fine. It's a sensible thing to do. Okay. Bosky will, since we've got power restored, Bosky will immediately turn to the rest of the party now that these two things have been dealt with, and say, well, we know there was at least one other from the Gorn, and who knows how many others may be present on the ship. We should, now we have power, conduct internal scans and also set up as many internal force fields and movement prohibitors as is possible, as well as put the ship under general quarantine.
Yeah.
I'm gonna also order we all get scanned as well because we don't know when our superior officer guy when he got infected. So I'm gonna say scan all of us and yourself. Like someone will scan you.
All right. If you spend a momentum, I'll just give you the general, so you don't have to do 5 rolls. I'll just give you the answer.
Yep.
None of the player characters, surprisingly, are infected.
Okay.
And neither is Cathal.
It was a secret roll game the whole time.
Yeah.
One of us was a traitor.
I actually thought of doing that. I actually considered doing that. Cathal is also not infected. But as you guys are scanning, the doors open, and the Reman and Romulan that were standing outside come inside and look around like, what the hell? And then they raise their weapons towards you.
Fire!
I can't.
What are y'all doing?
Order them to stand down.
They're obviously confused because a colonel just told them to stand down, but they also see their sub-commanders on the floor. So they're just like going back and forth, like, so that's going to be a presence commander.
Listen to the colonel. I'm a sub-commander, and I'll yell to listen to the colonel.
All right, I am going to... Sorry, go ahead.
I'm going to say, he's infected by a alien parasite, so he's been relieved of command.
All right, do you want to spend any momentum to get more dice for the presence command roll that I'm about to roll for you? How many
I'll
momentum?
spend 2, because I don't remember how high my presence is.
It's 9, so it's not terrible, but it's not the best. All right, so, and someone was assisting, right?
I am assisting.
All right.
This may go badly, but...
Wow.
Is this negotiation?
Just, wow. Sorry, yeah, sure.
Did I roll terribly?
Yeah, you rolled 4 dice, and you rolled 1 success. So, yeah, they're probably not having any of it. So, they're going to open fire, because that was y'all's roll. And, let's see, I'll do the Reman first, because she's kind of trying to prove herself. Control, security. And I don't have any threat, unfortunately. Well, fortunately for y'all. She misses, probably because she's in shock. So who's going next?
I'll go.
Was the
Can I clear the space between us? And
You're not too far away. Yeah, it's probably like 15 feet away.
All right. Yeah, I'm gonna clear the space, and I'm gonna do a unarmed attack.
Nice. That'll be a daring security, and it's opposed. Who is it on, the Romulan or the Reman?
The Riemann.
Is this payback for her scaring your character earlier?
Oh yeah, this is definitely payback.
All right, she's
And I've
gonna.
got the martial arts talent too.
Nice. She has no talents or focuses. Well, she does have focuses, but
And
nothing
the
useful.
martial arts is my unarmed strikes gain the intense damage effect.
Nice. Gotta get more than 3 though. Do you want to spend any momentum or give me threat for any more dice?
Gonna spend momentum
Okay, how many?
for a third die.
A
And
third?
the complication range is 1, right?
Yes, because I'm out of threat.
Okay.
Woo! Active player. Actually, yeah, I misspoke earlier. If you tie, you win because you're the active player. So active player wins against
Yes.
ties. So you basically here how I'm imagining it is you basically let's see 1 2 3 not too much damage. So like how I imagine it is like. Well, you can say how you physically attack her, but like I imagine there's some sort of martial arts exchange, and then you land the final blow. Like you're both blocking each other, but then you land the final blow.
Mhm.
So, let's see, knockdown intense. I gotta see what intense does. Do you remember by any chance?
Hold-
I looked it up a few days ago and already forgot. Where in the world? Oh, I put it over here. Proving the odds. Whoops, wrong one. Alright, intense. Minor actions, direct. No, that's not it. Attacks and damage. That should be it. Yeah, so she should be knocked down because of that effect. Or those 2 effects. For some reason. You could also. Oh, no, that's momentum spins. Ah, there it is. Intense. The attack is designed to inflict massive harm on a target, incapacitating them far more effectively. The cost to avoid an injury caused by an intense weapon increased by 1. Well, she can't avoid injuries anyway because she's a minor NPC. So, yep. She basically gets knocked down. 1, 2, 3. Yep. With 3 stress removed, but she is not unconscious. And now it is her turn to go. So she's going to spend a minor action. Well, actually, it's technically the Ulan's turn, so let me roll for him. He doesn't know what to do because, as far as he's concerned, his allies are fighting his allies. So you know what? I'm going to have him actually... He puts up his hands with his disruptor pointed upward. He doesn't take any action. Who's next? So Odom went.
Basically,
go ahead, Matt.
is she still on the ground?
Yeah, but she'll probably be up next round or next turn.
Can Colonel Lex actually punch her in the face to knock her out?
Sure. Daring security, and it's going to be opposed. So let me roll for her again.
How many momentum do we have?
4.
And I get at least 2.
Okay, so you have 4 dice. So this should be a relatively easy. Well, depending on what your security and daring is. Wow. Okay. 4. So that puts you guys up to 3 momentum. Yep, you knock her down. Roll that damage. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6. She is knocked down again. Like she was about to get up, and then you just go over and punch her in the face again, and she goes down again. So what was that? 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. All right. She is dazed and not going anywhere anytime. She's not fully unconscious, but she is practically out of the fight. And even if she wasn't, I think you guys, especially if you're empathic or perceptive at all, you could tell that the way she's kind of like, she's more or less given up. Like she's not going to try to fight multiple people by herself. So you've won this one. What is your next
Yay.
move?
Well, I've got something
Oh.
that Vosky can do, but it's not urgent. So if people want to do stuff in combat, yeah.
Well, combat's
by all means,
over
go
now.
ahead of Vosky.
The Romulan
Oh,
has
okay.
surrendered. The
Oh.
Riemann is out of commission.
In that case,
order the Ulan to fall in line.
Ordered them to fall in line.
Yep.
Well, the Riemann's
Vosky's
not reacting because of, being almost unconscious. The Romulan, if you allow him, he holsters his pistol and kind of stands beside you. He has no idea what's going on, but as far as he was concerned, he was just following orders. So if a higher ranking officer tells him to do something, he's going to do it.
Vosky holds up a hand when he starts to approach and just says, "Wait there for a moment, Ulan," and he will medically scan both the Riemann and the Ulan to see if either of them are infected.
All right.
Probably not, but
Yeah. Go ahead and make a medicine and reason check. Difficulty 1.
which will become difficulty 0 because I'm going to use all my shenanigans to test a theory and theory into practice, which will give me an extra dice and reduce the difficulty by 1.
All right.
It's such a broken combination.
I mean, I like
There
it.
we go.
So you guys are up
2 over
to
nothing.
5 momentum. All right.
Is Ulan is he clean?
Yep, both of them are not infected.
Do we know the Riemann who was knocked on the ground? Is she the prisoner? or
She
is
was
it
a
someone
prisoner.
else?
Yep.
Okay. I'll order the Ulan to have her under guard.
Okay. He pulls
Do
out his
we-
weapon and points it at her.
Yeah, I'll ask him. When you were talking to her, what was she discussing?
He looks over to you nervously. You could obviously tell that he's confused and also intimidated by being spoken to by high-ranking officers such as yourself. And he says, "All I know is Subcommander Drenal wanted us to use these prisoners as guards, and some of them they joined us willingly. Others they went to speak with the subcommander alone, and then they came back and suddenly they were on our side. She just wanted to prove herself, to prove that she wasn't a criminal. I really had no idea whatever is going on. I have no idea."
Okay, I'll have the medical personnel to just show him the scans of the commanding officer being infected with a parasite. Like, then make sure he knows that my orders were.
Oh yeah, he's not questioning you, regardless if you show him or not. He's on the same page as y'all at this point.
Okay.
And a few moments later, you guys can hear that the Riemanns are about to come to as well. The guards. How do you guys want to handle that?
We should probably erect the force field so they don't immediately start
Yes.
attacking us.
All
And
right.
then we can
Yes.
explain the situation.
All
So
right.
yeah.
You don't have to roll for that. The force fields come up, and you explain the situation.
What's their general reaction to all of that?
I mean, the empath is feeling kind of a skepticism and a coldness and a resentment towards just general Romulan kind. But those of you who are not empathic, all you see is blank faces. They just stare back at you as you explain this. They don't agree, disagree. They just stand there.
And are
They're
they
just mad at Romulans in general.
Yeah.
These Riemanns, these are the ones who were in the room that were gassed, were all bodyguard Riemanns. They weren't
Mhm.
prisoner
Correct.
Riemanns. Okay, cool. In that case, we are not immediately going to put them back into custody.
Nope.
Unlike this other Riemann, who's going back into custody. Maybe
Yeah,
not
I think that other
immediately.
Riemann should not be under
Oh,
guard.
yeah.
I think she should be in a cell.
Yeah. Is there anything else that you guys would like to do at this point in time? Unless there's another location that you guys want to investigate, we're pretty much at the conclusion of this part. Next week we'll start another part.
We're gonna hail the Dracaria.
All right.
And-
Sorry, go
And
ahead.
activate a general quarantine warning. I'm guessing. Yeah.
All right.
Well, you are our medical officer, so that would be your space to do that.
So,
Polsky absolutely does that.
are you doing this? Are you guys doing this from engineering or the bridge or where?
We might as well do it from engineering. I imagine we can get all the appropriate access.
Okay. The subspace interference is still fading, so it's staticky, but it's a lot better than it was. And Captain Kulera says, "Where's Sub Commander Drenal?"
I'll fill this. I'll just say we'll need to discuss that in private. An incident has occurred.
I see. Well, I hope I will send you our coordinates and you can meet with us. And as she's saying that, you can see, whereas before the static resembled kind of the subspace interference, this is more of like a pixelated kind of jumbled mess, which would indicate somebody is jamming them, and then suddenly the Dicarius' communications cut out black.
It's the guys on the bridge.
Oh.
Yep.
Okay.
Okay, well, yeah, we'll have to deal with the people on the bridge probably next week. But if it's possible, Vosky will activate the automatic quarantine buoy, which I imagine you can do from engineering as an emergency procedure.
Sure.
Just so nobody else tries to board or dock.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I want to try to lock out
Yes.
bridge commands.
Okay.
I'm gonna save the women prisoner. I'll probably want to start questioning her as well, because I don't really want to leave her by herself just in case she gets attacked by one of these creatures.
Okay, so let's start with the lockout for the bridge commands. That is going to be a roll, unfortunately. Control engineering difficulty 1. And because of what you guys did in stellar cartography, there is not going to be a contested roll. They're basically, once you make this roll, they're going to be permanently locked out of all functions.
Just in case I'm buying one die with threat.
Fair enough. Alright, so you guys are up to 7 momentum. And you wanted to ask the Riemann some questions, Mr. Carava? Or Miss Carava?
Yep.
Alright. Go ahead and commence your interrogation.
Let's ask what were you convicted of?
Murder.
Uh-huh.
I didn't do it, of
who
course.
did you murder?
I didn't murder anyone. I was just convicted of it because I was a Romulan in the area at the time. I mean, a Riemann in the area.
I'll just do an insight roll on that.
Okay, insight, I guess either medicine or command.
Command.
Oh yeah, I'll roll for you.
Okay.
Insight command. Oh yeah, I have to roll something as well. Has nothing to do with this. And are you guys? So have you? At this point, you've already taken her to a cell, correct?
I'm gonna say we're probably still in engineering.
Still in engineering. Okay.
I don't like the idea that I don't like the idea that we would be split up. Because
Okay.
I also don't want to leave her by herself,
Okay.
just in case she gets attacked by a creature.
Right. So you can't really tell 100% if she's lying or not, but you definitely don't get the feeling that she's completely innocent regarding either her crimes or just in general. She was way too eager to join the Romulans in their actions, we'll call it.
Uh-huh. What did the Romulans want to do? I'll ask her.
She says, I don't know. Sub-Commander Drenal said if I wanted to be pardoned, I would help him establish command and control on this ship, and if I did my job well, I'd be rewarded. That's all he's told me, and that was good enough for me. I didn't want to spend one more second in this prison cell.
Could I Oh, oh, do I have the authority to make that kind of offer?
To pardon her? I mean, it
I'm not pardon her,
depends.
but like, give her like a lot of sentence, or at least.
I don't think we have the
If-
authority to do that.
To be
I was gonna say,
honest,
if you were
Sub-Commander
to- if
Drenal
you
didn't even have the authority to say what he said.
Yeah.
And
I
it's
mean,
Go
you
ahead.
can absolutely like say that whether or not
Yeah.
you have the authority. But if you were to say that, bearing in mind that this is a Federation prison ship,
Yeah.
Vosky would make a comment along the lines of, "You do, of course, realize that overturning the lawful conviction of a Federation court may cause a diplomatic incident."
Hmm. True.
Recommendation to have a lot to sentence
Right.
can
Yeah.
go
That
a
is the
long
thing.
way.
You can recommend.
Yeah.
You can recommend.
We could recommend. I would just say, yeah, we could recommend a lighter sentence, reducing sentence, and a lighter sentence for your crimes if you assist us. The person who offered you that the freedom, he was being infected by some sort of parasite that has taken control of his mind. He didn't have the authority or
That
ability to
that
pardon you of any
explains.
crimes.
That explains a lot. He seemed off, and besides that, there was a lot of weird things going on that I didn't understand. But I guess that makes sense now.
So do we want to put it back? Do we want to put her in a cell, or do we want to just like keep her somewhere away from us, kind of thing? But like, okay, I don't know. Like, I'll ask her,
Find
hey,
the
would you be
quarters.
willing? Yeah, would you be willing to assist us?
I don't see how I have much of a choice. I am a prisoner.
Well, you can choose to go back to a cell, or you can choose to assist us.
I would rather do whatever it takes to not be in the cell for one more minute, if that's at all possible.
Okay. Okay. We'll also make an attempt as well to give you a lighter sentence, or to commute your sentence to something else, or at the very least, for your service helping us recover
Sure.
the ship. 'Cause-
You could tell that she doesn't really buy any of it, but she says sure.
Can I try and do a persuasion thing?
Sure.
Try and like
What are you trying to
make them
persuade her?
motivated?
She's already agreed to help.
I'm just
though.
gonna. Oh, okay.
I mean, if you
okay,
if
that's
you
fine
roll
then.
and fail
She's not
critically,
lying.
she may just decide to change her mind.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm gonna need to drop off in a minute here.
Okay. So this will be the end of this part. Without the Dicarius, you guys detain the remaining prisoners, including the parasites, the Drenal loyalists, and you guys fly the Alcatraz to the nearest starbase. You contact Starfleet Command and the Romulan High Command to report on the findings about the neuroparasites, the Angosian signal, and the unknown alien vessel. And then, as far as the stuff that you guys discover about the parasites, they actually have a little bit that you guys find out that you guys apparently would know based on just Starfleet Command. In 2364, a survey team discovered the neuroparasites on an uncharted planet. In a matter of months, the parasites had infiltrated Starfleet Command. This invasion proved unsuccessful thanks to the crew of the USS Enterprise D. The neuroparasites are that's number one. Number two, the neuroparasites are an intelligent non-humanoid life form. The parasite integrates into a host's brainstem, giving it full control over the host body. However, the parasite does not retain the host's memories. The parasite does create several notable physical changes. It increases the host body's strength and resistance to injury. It also breathes through a small gill that protrudes from the base of the neck. And the last one, number three, there is no known way of removing the neuroparasites without killing the host, but the parasites cannot survive the death of the mother creature. Captain Picard and Commander Riker killed a mother creature, but not before it transmitted a homing beacon into deep space. And that is it. You guys are heading to the nearest starbase with this ship, and your next mission will effectively be to kind of investigate where the Dicarius went. Does anybody have any questions or comments before we end?